Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. I have Mark S.A. Smith, the Bija Company, with me now today. Mark, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Michael. Always a delight to be with you and help your viewers make money.
All right. I'm glad you're here to do that. All right. Let's talk about risk today, the relationship of risk to the executive suite.
Indeed. Risk is a judgment. Keep in mind that risk is always fear objectified. And the various players within the C-suite view fear a very different way. They, of course, call it risk. They won't say, I'm afraid this is going to happen. They're going to say, I see a risk in this particular outcome. So it's a way of packaging up fear. The interesting thing about fear is that everybody in the C-suite has a different relationship to risk. For example, the person with probably the highest aversion to risk would be the CIO, the person who's responsible for the IT. And the reason why is because if the system's down, the business is out of business until it's back up and running. If there's any security hacks, that causes serious issues. And so they're really focused on reducing risk. And so they have the highest aversion to risk. The person with the lowest aversion to risk and the highest embracement of risk is always the CEO. And the reason why is the CEO is creating a future that does not yet exist using methods that have yet to be invented where best practices have yet to be established, which means the CEO is pushing the envelope. They're out there just forging on, and they can't do that when there's any fear. I'm sure you can handle risk, but the idea is that they go to places where no one else in the company will even approach. Now, the interesting thing about risk and the risk profile is there's a connection to a person's sensitivity to adrenaline and how they handle risk. If you're highly sensitive to adrenaline, you don't like risk. It doesn't make you feel good. And if you love adrenaline, you're okay going out there and trying some things. And a good example of that is consider Sir Richard Branson jumping out of a balloon at 120,000 feet. Now, I'm a pretty fearless guy. I don't think I'd do that.
Okay.
Or Larry Ellison of Oracle, racing the world's fastest yachts and racing high-performance aircraft. Those are guys that are addicted to adrenaline. So, CEO, the thing I want you to understand is that your team has a very different relationship to adrenaline, which is a really good thing because it helps you manage risk through their aversion to fear. And what that means is while you might want to go out and run around a racetrack, your CIO is probably going to say, that messes with my stomach. And that just indicates how we tend to relate to fear. So with that, I think you have a better insight on how to work with your team. There's a few more pieces, but I think that's probably good enough for today. What do you think, Michael?
I think that's really good. And by the way, yes, I have flown in the stunt planes at the Reno Air Races, racing the Ferrari Hill Climb, and I only got second in the camel race, but I'm in there.
Yes, you are. And so is our viewer. But we have to understand the rest of our team doesn't have that same level of acceptance of risk and embracing of adrenaline.
I got it. Mark, thanks for being here today.
Oh, you're so welcome. Delight to be here and up-level your executive skills at the executivestrategysummit.com.
My pleasure. All right, you've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.